minute or two. See how this is gonna go down. Set everything up. No one's in here. Um, so I'll give it just a couple minutes. Bear with me while I'm getting it all set up. Okay. Bear with it one minute. Salaki at the water. A few people come in. Shalom at the water for your patience. When first to give all praises. First and foremost, give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Arakakwadash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings on you men, women, and children out there that have changed your lives for you and your families, that you may earn your salvation through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Shalom unto you. Let's check and see what we got. Shalom, shalom. Let's set this up a little bit better. Bear with me one moment so we can get a good angle on it. Alright, Salaki for the infrequency of videos. I mean, the internet is not very kind unto me, so for this channel I'm nearly forced to do everything live. But okay, before we pull a script, how our people Israel loves controversy, okay? And the latest controversy is about the Sakari Passover, if they can be if their Passover has strippers at it, so on and so forth. You know, what kind of Passover they holding, so on and so forth. But then there's also another topic that I want to address, the contention between the IUIC and the ISUPK. All right? And this lesson that I'm going to bring out, I've said as much about Sakari, IUIC, or ISUPK as I'm going to say about it. But this here is what we at Great Millstone understand. Okay? We understand that your actions speak louder than words, but more importantly, you can't tell from a distance what's going on just by looking from the outside. And that was what the priest over there at Sakari, Alazar, was talking about. Y'all don't know what was really going on. Well, don't just judge it without even trying to figure it out or find out the truth. Well, we have a few scripts on that, but not to just address what he's talking about, but just in general for anybody out there. This is to be applied in all walks of life. If you say that you're someone seeking repentance and seeking salvation from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, these things that are written aforetime are written for our learning. All right, so I'm gonna grab a few things. I'm gonna start with Sirach chapter 27, verse 6. It says, let me start up at verse 5. It says, "The furnace proveth the potter's vessel, so the trial of man is in his reasoning." So the way you understand and reason, and particularly your intents, of what your actions were attempting to do is what's going to prove you. Okay, whether or not you're doing the right thing or not. Verse 6 says, which is the title of the video, the fruit declared if the tree had been dressed, okay, so is the utterance of a conceit in the heart of man. All right, so let me go to the other precept that goes directly with that in Matthew. All right, and I didn't have a lot of scriptures or precepts in this particular lesson, because it's just a straight to the point thing. It shouldn't be super difficult to understand this. Okay. Yep. Matthew chapter 7, verse 17. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Okay, so when we've been getting on these other camps here at Great Millstone, we're not getting on you for the good teachings or the good works of labor that you guys are doing to wake up the people of Israel, okay, to wake up the elect of Israel. Your approach to it, we may show you that your intents seem to be off-centered, so to speak, and that's able to be determined because of, I'll just grab it real quick, Hebrews the 4th chapter. I'm going to just try to grab these as much as they come to mind. Hebrews, let me get it real quick. Hebrews chapter 4, we all should know this one. Hebrews 4 and 12, for the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, okay, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when we look at people's actions and what they post online, you know, as I don't know what they're posting some of these works online for, you know, the contention between them fighting over a certain street, or the establishment environment that another group would choose to have their Passover in. Okay, those are the things that you have to look out for. And so the intent there, we can't see the true intent, but then when we see the footage of these things happening in there, now we can say, like, come on, man, this looks like a worldly event. And you know, there's always going to be an angle that someone can debate upon. But hey, man, you can't say that because you don't know we was this and that. And okay, we don't know, but this was beautiful. Let me see if I could. I don't know how to do that, but let's see if I can bring that one up. Now, this was the one I was going to bring. I was just thinking it. Anyway, this is Ecclesiastes, come on, 7 and 2. It is better to go to a house of, matter of fact, I need 7 and 1. I don't know if it was posted first, but let me grab it. And then I'll read 2 as well. Let me grab it real quick. I'll get back to that. Hebrews, I could drop that. Okay. So let me get over there to it. In Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Okay, because this is what we're talking about. And this is what's important to understand in this ministry. Okay, the Lord willing, this will be edifying unto you out there. Bear with me 1 minute. I can get it real quick, a little faster. Ecclesiastes, yeah, here we go. Ecclesiastes 7 and 1. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of one's birth. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay to their heart. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. This was supposed to be a solemn feast. So if anything that you were trying to show is a solemn, serious nature. Okay? And just to quote about them fighting over the block, man, I haven't quite gotten to that part of the scriptures yet, but you have to understand, the laborers are plenteous The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So we're trying to wake up Israel as much as possible. But when you guys start putting off these works of men, not works of the spirit, but the works of the flesh or the works of men, well, some of these people are going to be misconceived. You know, they're going to see it in a wrong light. They're going to see it in a wrong dynamic. It's not going to look very much different from the ways of the world coming into this truth. And that it's nothing but, yeah, there's works of man that happen within this work of faith, you know, this gospel, this faith, this belief. But we have to let them know that there's a distinct separation between the works of the world versus the works that are intended towards righteousness through the Spirit. Okay, and what you do and what you show will prove that. Yep. It says, verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And so, yeah, you can come on and say, you know, y'all were turned down, but we were turned up. Hey, that's cool if that's how your church wants to hold your Passover, but let's not remember it was told to us that there was supposed to be a solemn feast. Okay? So you can go into the definitions. We know Sakari branched out of Great Millstone, so we know you know how to look up words, and the ways that the apostles have guided us through this faith for the time that you were involved in this. You know, you've chosen your own lane, and great, do your thing, man. Your whole church over there, go do your thing. Somebody's got to play that role. Somebody's got to wake the people up from that perspective. Okay, as well as the other churches, but as we would be remiss if we didn't warn our brothers that the ways that you're walking in are gonna end in detriment for some people because they don't fully understand. Okay, so Lord willing, throughout this lesson, I could bring out those points. All right, so that was that one. Okay, that was enough of that one. Yep. Oh well, let me read this one since I'm here. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. Okay, and when you see GMS, particularly because I am a part of GMS, I'm going to speak for GMS only on this level of saying we go out there and we rebuke and we reprove all you other camps for the works that we see done, because we understand that we're all being grouped into this Hebrew Israelite thing, even so-called Black Hebrew Israelite thing as a whole. Okay, but what are the works that you're setting out there? Hey, that it looks like a strip club setting now, or whether it's the after hours club or whatever type of dance club or discotheque or whatever you got going on. Okay, I understand the venue and that all made sense. Okay, I'm not trying to justify your excuses or your reasons. I'm with that. I fully understand that. But at the same time, that's not something that you should be posting for those that are without the faith, that are trying to make the decision on whether they can come into this ministry to bear their own cross, you know, to become a disciple. You have to understand that they may be seeing that and they can get the wrong idea about what they're getting themselves into. So when they're brought before governors and tried and brought before councils and whatnot, and then tortured, you know, for the word of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, they won't fully understand. But I thought we were just rappers. I thought we were just having a good time. Okay, but the vengeance would have been earned because they didn't walk in a wise way unto Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. All right, so that's what we love to do. Just because it's a service of love that Great Millstone does by getting on everybody. It's not just to kick up contention and strife. We're on everybody's head and neck. Everything we see that could be filtered through the scriptures, we do, and hence the angle of this lesson. So going back to Matthew, that's funny, that chapter keeps trying to pop up. Anyway, Matthew 7 and 17. So every good tree bringeth forth. I'm gonna hit them. Cool. I'll try to get them. Bear with me. All right. Even so, every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. And that's what we're trying to make sure of. The establishments of the trees that you're built on, particularly something that came out of the root of Great Millstone, particularly that came out of the root of One West, which encompasses everybody that this could be applied to, which could be accompanied to us as individuals more so, okay, in our walk in this faith. We have to understand the tree that we're building, that we're growing. It has to be upright. It has to be all those things. How do we do that? With the wisdom and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, with reading, praying, fasting, good works between you and your neighbor, meaning not just your next door neighbor, but like your fellow believer, and being at peace with all men out there. Yeah, Edomite may come with a demonic spirit, but it says a man turneth away, a soft answer turneth away wrath. Okay, there's way, agree with thine adversary quickly without being in the way. There's things that we can do that keep us still in a good light amongst people of the world, even demons, that we made the wise decision to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. It ain't always a contentious spirit, looking for how to follow through on a nigga moment. Okay, that's the ways of the world. Okay, so we're trying to remove those type of ways from out of our actions. All right, it says, a good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. So if your intent of your leader is bad and the root that he's setting is from a bad place, hey, your followers are going to lead there, or they're going to have to get cut off and grafted into a righteous tree, okay, or rerouted to begin a righteous root to build a righteous tree. It says, every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, meaning the Lord is going to break that thing up, man. He's going to destroy that church if you ain't right. And so many of the three churches that I just named, we're constantly on you guys. Why? Because we do care, and because we know you guys know what the doctrine is. We know that you know to go into the scriptures and get it, and we hold you to a higher standard. You don't see us bugging them Israelites out there, them Yahweh ben Yahweh Israelites. We don't bother them. Now that day is gonna come when their doctrine is gonna clash with the truth. Okay, it says, whereby their fruits ye shall know them. And so yeah, that's cool if y'all think that nightclub, strip club environment, where women are walking around with that type of uniform on, is okay. That's all gravy. That's all gravy if that's the environment that you want your church to be in. But understand, there are people that don't have the same faith as you, built up to the same level, that look at this and may be confused by what they see. Okay, and I'm doing my best to be as understanding and forgiving of the situation, not to be as hard in judgment of the situation, because it looked like a really bad situation that I wouldn't be caught dead in. Okay, nor, and if it were my tree that I began the root from, the branch of, coming out of whichever way, whether it was IUIC, ISUPK, or Sakari, I wouldn't have posted anything or allowed anybody around me to post that situation. I would have just held on to the footage in case it ever came up, but I wouldn't have made a big deal about it. But I also would have approached both of the situations in a different way. Okay, as we're taught. I asked a question on our camphead chat here at Great Millstone, and I said, what would brothers do? And brothers have been through a situation like that with IUIC and ISUPK, where ISUPK came up and said, this is our spot now, and this and that. Like, y'all just trying to bully us. So what did brothers do? Hey, the harvest is plenty, the laborers are few. Y'all going to take the spot, we're going to take the low, and we're going to move on and keep pushing. You can look at it in whatever regard you want to of the nature of how men dealt with it, but it is what it is. And those men are still out there teaching. I don't know about the other men that tried to take the spot. I don't even know about the men that as far as IUIC and ISUPK that were struggling over the block. They were across the street from one another. Why that became the same time, date, and hour that you both had to be out there, it is what it is. And we always laugh over here because a lot of you camps don't go out year round, and that's not a good look for the people that's coming in that want to believe and follow this truth. They may get the word said to them a certain way, but when it comes to the wintertime and they can only get out to a camp to really inquire about their salvation in a serious manner, you guys are nowhere to be found. So anyway, moving on, let's go to Romans the 8th chapter, which any of you that really get into this book, you know what that chapter is about. Okay. Romans 8. Let me see. Yep. Romans 8:1. There is therefore now no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushua, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. Okay? If you don't walk after the flesh and you walk after the Spirit, you won't be condemned, because the Spirit is going to guide you into good works and what you should do in every situation. As in the scriptures to tell you, when you follow with wisdom, wisdom will meet you, and you will have no great travail, because wisdom will show you the ways to walk down these narrow paths. Okay? Let me jump down. Verse 4, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. That we walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit, not setting up situations that are appeasing to the flesh, but being in situations that are righteous and edifying to the Spirit. Okay, so for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit do mind the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but are in the Spirit, if so be that the Spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now if any man have not the Spirit of Yahushua Mashiach, he is none of his. Okay, so we're trying to make sure that you're not leaving a false interpretation of what's actually being seen on these videos and these uploads, that they're being edifying, not just to the point of how do I say it, of that it just looks like a nigga moment or a nigga event happening. Okay, it's supposed to be a separation between what we do as the men of the Lord under Yahweh Bashim El Shai and what the people of the world do. So when we tell them repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand, they can see that there's a distinct difference between what they're doing, which will be in the ways of darkness and walking after the flesh, into the righteous ways of what we're doing and practicing, okay, which is after the Spirit. All right. So from there, I want to go to I'm gonna wait on that one. Now it's time to bring them. Yeah, like I said, this won't be a very long lesson, but I'm going to hit a few other points. So while I'm in Romans, let's go to this one. Romans 13. Yep, in 3 it says, for rules are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. And it's something that Priest Priest Alazar said, that I had to take a liking to what he said, because it's true. He said we ain't out there, and it's the same fits with IUIC and ISUPK. They were both out there to wake up our people. I get it, okay? Everybody was there about waking up our people. But Alazar said, he said, hey, we've been condemning strip clubs. We've been condemning these certain situations of the world and waking our people up, okay? And then he even used the scripture of Yahweh Shai that sat with publicans and sinners, you know, and they questioned him about it. He said the sick need a physician, not the whole. Which I get it. You go in the trenches, you deal with that. That's cool, okay. But be careful of what you surround yourself by, because no one will be able to tell the difference between the way you conduct yourselves and the way the people around you that are of the world and not of the faith of Yahweh Shai conduct themselves. We have to make a distinction between the two. Okay, we have to do our best to widen and broaden that gap. And by the actions that have been taken in some of those situations, it's hard to see. You know, both of those situations, it was really hard to see. So we, as believers in this faith, have to make sure we're separating ourselves from the ways of the old man that was once us. Okay, matter of fact, while that came to mind, let me jump over it right here to 1 Peter chapter 4, which says, It's funny, open to it. It says, for as much as Yahweh Shai has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of the Most High. And that's the point, that we make that separation from the old man we were, okay, that was in the world and that was in darkness, to the new man that's putting on the armor of light and arming himself with wisdom, that he may earn his salvation. Okay, the same with the works. Even though you may be a man of the Most High, or a woman or whatever of the Most High, practicing, rehearsing these righteous acts, and your belief is being built up, or your faith is being built up, but you're still connecting to some of these works of the flesh and the works of darkness, is going to perceive you to be a regular old nigga, man. Mexican nigga, white nigga, black nigga, Hispanic nigga, whatever. Asian, native, whatever, man. Okay? We're supposed to be separating ourselves from that mentality, from the appearance of those things. And I'm going to grab that scripture in just a second. Let me read a little bit. No, that's enough. That hit the point. So let me grab this one real quick, and then I'll go back. Matter of fact, I'll just go back to Romans 13 real quick. It says, "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Will thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same." Yeah, Great Millstone gets on everybody. Okay? But if you do good, we don't bother you. Okay? If you do the right things, when you exercise righteously in the spirit, we don't bother you, man. We leave you alone. It's when the works don't add up through the wisdom of the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahshai is when we're quick to pounce upon all, what does it say, and ready to revenge. Let me see if I can grab that right quick. Forgive me for bouncing around. I did jot a few scriptures down to try to keep me on pace, but for the most part, yep, there it is. For the most part, this is how we break the scriptures down. Okay, we do jump around from topic, not necessarily topic to topic, but from precept to precept. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10. I'll start at verse 3. The point is in 6. It says, "For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal." That's why we have to make the separation. The biggest war that we have is against ourselves, particularly the old man or the old person that we once were, that was of the world and of darkness, and to this righteous person that we're growing to be in the light of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It says, "But mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds." I've been through many generations of dope dealers, of pimps, of whatever, and so to come out of that, some people have a story that's like that. They have a long line of cigarette smokers, long line of whatever, idol worshipers, or whatever else, and then but you still have to break those cycles, man. That's a war that you have to fight within yourself, okay? And it's a worthy adversary that you're fighting, but you can overcome through the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. It says, "Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High." And that's where we stay at, man. Anytime something that comes against the knowledge of the Most High, we're on it, man. That's why Sarnetter said what he said. Okay? First thing he said, well, I know, if y'all don't condemn this, then you ain't right. I know GMS is gonna condemn it. You damn right GMS is gonna condemn works that don't condone righteousness through the spirit, that can be discerned through visuals, to be intended as something that may not be right. We make sure that we get on top of it to send the right vibration towards it, to knock that BS out. That whether the person may be reproved or admonished, or that there may be, what's the word I'm looking for? There may be an edifying that comes out of it, okay, from the example, and usually it's bad examples, okay. It says, "And every high thing is casting down imaginations, and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, and bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahushua." And that's what we're here to do. We're trying to get you into the obedience of the mind of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Okay, how do we do that? By bringing out these precepts and these scriptures, okay, in its proper context, in its proper understanding. All right, it says, and having a readiness, this is a great millstone right here, and having a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Okay, we got to be ready to hop on anything that's disobedient to the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We got to call it all out. We have to make note of it. It says mark them. Okay, all right. So moving from there, we want to jump back to done with Peter, done with Corinthians. I am back in. Let me see. Yeah, let me read this again in Romans 13:3. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Will thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. If they would have put out the, or not put anything else, we would have had nothing to say about it, regardless of what they were doing in private. Okay, regardless of the situation. But when you didn't tighten your men up to say, hey, nobody put that out. Okay, nobody needs to see what we do after our Passover ceremony. Okay, that's a practice that we do here at Great Millstone. Nobody needs to know what we do after, during and after our Passover ceremonies. We got classes that edify you about the laws written about what how we're supposed to keep the feast of unleavened bread and the commemoration of the Passover with that feast. Okay, so the scriptures are clear about that. From there, let me see. Let's go to that real quick. Let me see if that's the one I want. Take a look at it. Let those go. So that's why we're so quick to hop on every situation that seemeth not to be righteous. Where was I at? That was 15. Yeah, right here. No. 15. Yep. Yeah. Yep. This is Proverbs chapter 15, verse 14. The heart of him that have understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. And so you have to be understanding of that when you're putting out a certain perception of your church. Okay, when you're putting out a certain perception of yourself. Okay, if you walking around mean mugging all day, just mad at the world, and got nothing like you have, like the rest of the lowly people of our nation that ain't gonna make it, like you got nothing good for yourself, how's anybody ever gonna look at you and wonder why you have a different countenance about you? And to even inquire, man, what you so happy for? What's going on? I know y'all about Shem Yahushua. Who's that? Well, that's the real name of the Heavenly Father. You ain't even heard about the Hebrew Israelites? And that the Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans are God's chosen people. That's good news. That's the gospel. And that he's coming back to save a remnant of our people and deliver us out of this captivity. What captivity? The captivity within America, so on and so forth. Okay, World War III, blah, blah, blah. You can break it down as need be from that point on. And what have you done? You've gotten the blood off your hands, as well as gave them the opportunity to get the blood off of theirs and to save their own life. Okay? So anyway, going back into this, I'm going to read it again. It said, the heart of him that have understanding seeketh knowledge. So somebody that understands, we see it and we're like, whoa, what's going on in this situation? Why is this situation? I need to know what's going on. Knowledge is to know. I want to know what's going on. Okay? It says, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. So those that don't have a sound mind of it may see both of those situations, or may see you in an interaction with somebody and may discern it to be a negative thing. Okay? But we can't change the perception of other people, how they view what we've already done, but how we are viewed by what we actually do. So we should be mindful of what we actually do, if that makes sense. Okay? Being mindful of the things that we actually do. Let me hit a couple of these real quick. Anarchy says 1 Corinthians 10 and 21, ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and and of the table of devils. Okay, you can't play you can't love two masters, man. You got to pick one. You know, and this is the one where you live. First John, I read 16. 15 was a good one as well. It says, which 15 says, um, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For if anyone loveth the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust thereof, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. He that doeth the will of the Most High, but he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. Okay? It's a good precept because we have to understand we cannot be connected to the things that happen in the world. And there's a distinct reason for that. There's a distinct separation for that because we're supposed to be a holy people. Okay, separate from sinners. Okay? Being one of those things. Let me see, is there any more on that? Nope. And so let me go to that real quick in 1 Thessalonians. Yep. And this is why, man, we have to be separate from these things. 1 Thessalonians. Let me get there real quick. Bear with me a second while I grab it. Pass it. I sure did. 1 Thessalonians. Come on. First Thessalonians chapter 5, and I'm gonna go down 22 is the point, so I'll hit straight to the point. 22, abstain from all appearances of evil. Okay, so why would you post a video of y'all in an establishment on the serious solemn Pesach, you know, of 2/3 looks like they're mixed into your congregation? Because I mean the lighting is low, it's hard to perceive it. But in that situation, why would you be sharing their establishment? You explained it, I get it. But why would you post it? Allow your congregation to post that. If anybody posted it, let them 2/3 post it, man. They won't know what to put. They'll be happy and they'll have been praising you, you know, for the good time they had. As you said, they kept coming up inquiring about what y'all was up to. Okay, and moving on to that other situation with IUIC and ISUPK struggling over the spot. Hey man, the appearances of evil were all set up there when you calling each other hoe ass niggas because somebody wants to teach directly across the street at the same time you do, when it could be just a peaceful interaction of righteous communication. Hey bro, y'all out here now? Well, we just gonna teach across the street. No big deal. We're not out here to cause this and that, but that's what your intents of the heart come from. You know, is your intent to be there to challenge them? Then just get to the debate. If not, is it just to teach in a spot that y'all chose across the street? Then just teach. Just teach, man. Okay, just start teaching the truth, man. That's it. And all of that back and forth and hoe ass nigga and why don't y'all leave and why don't y'all, you know, just teach, man. Okay, forget about all that. Just teach. We have camps inside Great Millstone that from one city that are all basically the same church, but break down into different camps, and some of them are down the street and across the street from one another, speaking the same languages or even different languages. Okay, and it still works. That this message gets out there. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna read that again. 1 Thessalonians 5:22. Abstain from all appearances of evil. I don't have a dictionary on me, and I'm on my phone that I can't Google it, but it basically means to stay away from. Okay. So let me get another one I had. Where's the one I wanna? Yeah. Perfect. I read that already. Did I? It's 14. Let me check this other precept real quick, then I'll grab a couple more. thought I read this one, but I might not have. Verse. Oh yeah. So let's right here, and as I was quoting earlier. Yep, beautiful, beautiful. Yep. So to make the point of a non-anarchy's precepts, they're beautifully more applied to thyself. Okay, when you remove yourself out of the equations and out of these situations, you stay away from the evil eyes or the misconceptions that can be labeled onto you. Because believe it or not, perception is everything. Okay, in a world of people that are carnal, they don't see things spiritually, as we know, so they're just gonna believe that you're just in the club being carnal, versus you're out in this situation for a good work, but you put yourself in a situation where you look like you can be, it can be perceived that you're out there doing evil with the rest of the people that are in darkness. Okay, so that's what we want to stay away from. This one is actually Romans chapter 14, verse 13. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. Okay, and that's why you wouldn't do it. That's why you wouldn't post that videos of those situations. That's why you wouldn't post your folly, in your personal life, what you and your woman do, or what you and your woman out at dinner and y'all have an argument. You go on live to put her on blast. What is that gonna do to you? When the scriptures we read already in Ecclesiastes the 7th chapter at the top, a good name is better than precious ointment. So you want to keep a good name for you and your church. Okay? And yeah, you can slander Great Millstone and call us whatever y'all want to call us and say we're this and that. But the bottom line is, when you look at the works of what a righteous man does, that's where you find us. And then you don't find the men of Great Millstone doing those things that you slander us by. We're not putting ourselves in the situations where it looks like we could be out there being niggas, man. Okay? We've been guided and edified away from those things, away from those appearances of the world. Okay, I'm going to read it again. It says, let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. And when you post a video about saying 2021 Passover, Sakari's Passover, blah, 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 and then you have a club setting, and then someone pulls up footage from the same event and splices it with different moments from that event, and you see women in scantily clad dress, in appearance, whether that's their uniform for the establishment or whether that's on purpose, or one was literally in one of the videos twerking, or damn near looked like a lap dance happening, But you don't want to have that, whether that happened at your Passover or after your Passover ceremony, whatever y'all was doing, whatever the mode that you want to push out, that doesn't need to be uploaded for everybody, man. Pass that around within your camp of the men that are of able understanding, because the younger men that are coming in are going to see that and it could easily create a stumbling block for them. Okay, the women can that may be believing in your church may see that and be in a misconstrued thing of this is what they want from us, because that's what they learn from the world, that we want half naked, big booty, butt naked hoes, and they want them to be twerking and loud and but that's not the message that your church pushes. But you left that appearance of evil out there to be interpreted by people that don't have the same level of understanding when you posted that on the internet. Okay. What else? That was it on that one. Let's see what else I jotted down. Yes, that's one of my favorites. 2 Corinthians. Let me grab it real quick. One of my favorite scripts right here. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3. Giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. So you can offend somebody or cause a stumbling of somebody. Okay. A stumbling block, I believe, is scandalizo, something like that, scandalizo in the Greek. which means to offend or to impede. Basically, somebody can't figure out what's supposed to be going on. They get stuck, and that can uproot them out. Why? Because they seen something that looked to be an appearance of evil happening within the church. So somebody like Saul Netter seeing your situation before you explained it, and I haven't seen what you are doing or have said or will say with Priest Daniela, so I don't know that part yet. But to this point, what we have to do for ourselves in this ministry is to make sure that no one is pinning the works of men to be the same thing as the works of the world, that your church may be looked at upon like a worldly thing. Okay, this is not of the world, this is of the Spirit. Okay, you have to keep this thing holy and separate, man, and above all reproach. Okay, because our job to be out there to do is to edify, man. Okay, to build our people up, to call them back to righteousness. Just read it again, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 3, giving no offense in anything, that the ministry be not blamed. Because now, because of the dress of the establishment, the uniforms of the establishment, it looks like this certain church is having a Passover at the strip club, man. You put yourself out there by allowing your men to post that information. Okay, it looks like you're not holding the feast solemnly. And on the other side of that situation, it looks like you two churches are being some niggas, man, having a nigga moment. Ready to go to fisticuffs, damn near. Go to fisticuffs simply because you guys are teaching across the street from one another. Okay, those are labels that are now put on your ministry because you offended people. You offended the little ones by creating a stumbling block before them. Okay? Those that don't have the level of understanding of faith, that only caught a clip or a sound bite, that don't know how to filter knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through these scriptures, to filter what they see in the world and take it with a righteous mind to these scriptures and let them be edified and grow thereby. Okay, you left it to where it looks like we just in here twerking with big booty holes, and that's what we all about. Okay, look like we just, if a nigga try to run up on your block, cuz, blood, whatever, we gonna fight over it. That's what it looks like. Okay, we're supposed to be separate from all those things. We're supposed to be pulling our people away from all those things. Not creating stumbling blocks that they may be like, oh, that's the same thing I was doing for the hood. I'm gonna do the same thing for them I do for the hood. Okay, that's not the mentality we're trying to bring in here. We want to make sure that matter of fact, I'll just grab it real quick. This is 2 Timothy's, a couple of them. While for tuning in and posting your precepts, it's much appreciated. I'll try to read them as much as I can, but I'm trying to keep this to a certain concise level. Anyway, it says, yes, 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2, it says, and the things that thou hast heard of me, and among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. Okay, so we want to keep that in remembrance of what we're doing. We don't want them to be like, okay, show the younger men how to deal within the strip club. That's not the outward message we're trying to push to the whole congregation, man. To the people that are waking up of Israel. Okay, so you have to really be considerate if your tree is dressed with the understanding of of what your church is being viewed as. Okay, and that has to be a perception that you hold dearly, like the scripture. I keep quoting it. A good name is better than precious ointment, man. That's a good name is gonna keep you from ills. It's gonna repair you when bad things happen. Okay. Let's see what else I got. It says, thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. No man that warreth, it's a spiritual war, right? Entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet he is not crowned except he strive lawfully. So we're trying to make sure that the people understand what this ministry is about. And I'm talking generally about the ministry of the Hebrew Israelites. Okay, regardless of the denomination, particularly, if your church is pushing a certain thing or not pushing a certain thing, that's on y'all. We over here at Great Millstone truly believe we have 100% truth, because everything we push can be backed up through precepts and understanding of the Holy Bible. Okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right, but you have to be mindful not to put yourselves out there in a way that would elicit a negative thought towards it, or a positive thought about its acceptance of the world. Okay, we have to condemn the ways of the world. I believe a non-anarchy, Shalom, Elder Shalom. I believe look, abstain, the water for posting it, Asana 18 writer says, restrain oneself from doing or enjoying something. Abstain from the appearances of evil. Okay? Now let me come back down to, I'll read that one. Give me 1 second. But you posted there, there's Micah 2 and 10. It says, arise ye and depart. For this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And so when we set these stumbling blocks up of the appearances of the world, that's setting a stumbling block that we haven't completely brought ourselves out of the ways of Babylon, out of the ways of the world. And that's not the message that we want to push to the people that are coming in and that are waking up. The sincere fruit that shall, this faithful men, as it says here in 2 Timothy's, who shall be able to teach others also. That's not the legacy we want to pass down. We want to make sure that we keep our appearance of those coming in as clean as we possibly can. All right? That's why not all aged men, not everybody that comes to faith is able to be in certain rooms. There's certain rankings for a certain reason. Those that are barely coming in shouldn't be in the rooms with the apostles and the elders. Seeing regular man time of how they unwind as grown men with understanding versus not. And that's why I read that in Romans the 14th chapter. All right. Now from there, I want to go to just a couple more. Yep, Sirach. A couple of them in Sirach, and then we'll close out. So let me go to Sirach 20. See, checking the comments. Yeah, beautiful. And on anarchy, Isaiah 8 and 20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Yep, beautiful. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40, let all things be done decently and in order. Okay? Escando. I can't say that. Escanaldo. Escanalo. It's scandal in Spanish, see? The same thing as stumbling block before people. All right, just checking the comments real quick. Yep. You put this one, Anon Anarchy posted 1 John 4 and 5. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. The world won't accept us or hear us. Okay, because we are not in the world. The world heareth his own. The world heareth his own. This is Sirach chapter 20. I think it was 31. Yep. 20 and 31. It says, better is he that hideth his folly than a man that hideth his wisdom. Okay, so it's better that we hide our folly, the things that we do as men. Me being one of the heads of the Vegas camp, I make sure whatever, I don't tell my brothers, I reached level such and such on Xbox 9 or whatever. I don't talk about those things, because to me, being an older man, those things are folly that I don't want to get a younger man in his faith to believe that it's okay to sit up and play video games all day. Okay? So I would hide that. And this is just an example. I would hide that from men. The level of drinking that I may do that may keep me and still stable-minded, I wouldn't show that around certain men that trying to match me drink for drink or sit up there and glorify me. Oh, he could drink a lot. That's not the point. Or, man, he don't drink at all. That's not the point. Okay? The point is that I keep the appearance and a good name about myself and a level head about myself. Okay? That those that are coming in can look to me as an example and of the way that they should walk in this truth. As someone that that's seeking salvation also. Because at the end of the day, we're all just men seeking salvation. And we were blessed through the Spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shah to be given this word in this ministry. But we're also given a responsibility unto those that come in after us and those around us, that we may be edifying unto them and may help one another bear each other's burdens along this path. Okay? And there was one that a saying that goes around, especially here in the Great Millstone. Not that it's a heavy one, but it's just to be said. How did it go? Familiarity breeds contempt. So the more you get familiar with a person, the more you look at them like, ain't nothing special what they're doing. You want to keep a separation of that around you. Okay? So men don't see you as an ordinary man, even though we are just ordinary men, but see you as an ordinary man with all your folly being set before them, thinking it's all right to do those things that they had conquered and you hadn't been able to conquer, that they may go back to doing those things. Okay? And that's just an example of it. Okay? We're supposed to be striving for the masteries. We're supposed to be perfect and holy because our Father in heaven is holy and separate. Okay? So we're supposed to try to keep a certain air about us, a certain level of mastery, a certain level of strictness about ourselves and how we keep ourselves. Giving no offense that the ministry be not blamed. So everybody in Great Millstone are some alcoholics. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, you're an alcoholic. If you're a womanizer or whatever, man, we want to keep those away from us. All right, beautiful. That's a beautiful scripture as well. I'm gonna read this one again in Ecclesiastes 20:31. Better is he that hideth his folly than a man that hideth his wisdom. Okay, so you can speak your wisdom, but you don't want to give away all your folly in trying to deliver that message of your wisdom. Okay, so hide that folly, and if certain things that aren't, even though it may seem to be edifying to you, it may not be edifying unto one that doesn't isn't on the same level as you in the faith. Okay, it may create a stumbling block for him, and you not unknowingly set before him, just by giving an example that isn't necessarily meant to be, that needs to be there. All right, and that's cutting me all the way through and through. Another one that I have in here is Sirach, I think 41 is where I'm looking. Sirach 41. Let me grab it. 41, and what verse did I have? Yep. Sirach 41:15. A man that hideth his folly is better than a man that hideth his wisdom. It repeats the same thing written a different way. Therefore be shamefaced according to my word, for it is not good to retain all shamefacedness, neither is it altogether approved in everything. Be ashamed of whoredom before father and mother, and of a lie before a prince and a mighty man. Okay, so there's certain things that you don't want to put yourself in that situation to have to explain your folly to somebody. Okay, so what's the best thing to do? Because that's what those men or those camps that I was using an example, and the most sincere and most pertinent and prudent example is to retain this message or this lesson inwardly. Okay, we don't want to have to give offense that the ministry be blamed or whatever. We don't want to have to explain our folly unto anybody. Okay, so we want to hide that away, that men don't look upon it and just nitpick at you. Okay, missing the message of what you're really out there doing. Okay, which is waking up the children of Israel to come back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. Lord willing, this was edifying. I hope the message was received in what my intents were, which was just to kind of touch on the situations that are an example right now of these other churches, as well as to remember to put this same message of the corrupt tree and good fruit in remembrance of yourself and the way you move around it. Okay, are you sowing the tree of corrupt fruit that was the old man of yourself in darkness, or are you sowing the tree that is in good fruit, you know, and of a righteous branch, you know, which is the new man that you are in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay, so Lord willing, this was edifying. And to the next one, I say Shalom. Matter of fact, let me give all praise and glory. Matter of fact, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Call Allah Yimla Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Double honor to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone. Greetings, salutations, and blessings unto you, hopeful elect out there. Those of you that are changing your lives for righteousness, that you may earn your salvation. Shalom.